Well, I'd say you've got a howl and a half there. You've got a magnificent Vulcan howl on takeoff and sort of half a howl there from Captain flying her today, Kev Rubens. The Vulcan howl is unique to this aircraft. It's all to do with the strange shape of the air intakes. Two engines buried deep in each wing with a single air intake. And under the right conditions, right weather conditions, and the right use of the throttle, she makes that noise. And of course she is famous for that. Now the thing about this aircraft is that I suppose it's obvious, but she's not funded by the government anymore. She doesn't belong to the Royal Air Force. And so far it's cost 20 million quid to get her to this stage. 20 million quid. More about that later, as she heads back towards us, and then I expect to see Kev pull her up into a spiral climb, just a brief one. And actually that's about 90% of the power available, because we're conserving the power of the engines so as to extend their life. She's probably not going to fly beyond the end of next year, but she might. She just might. And nobody expected her to fly this long at all, because well, first of all, nobody expected her to fly at all, and then eventually when she did, they didn't think she was going to go on this long. Robert Fleming, the chief executive of the Vulcan to the Sky Trust, says that by the end of 2015 she'll have flown for more than, for 60 hours, at least more than was anticipated during the award-winning restoration in 2007. We've beaten all our targets by a significant margin, he proudly says. And she's now enjoyed by 3 million people every year, 50% more than 2 years ago. And including, very importantly, children and young people who are inspired to learn more about engineering and aviation and to help fill the UK's desperate technology skill gaps. Apart from the undercarriage as she heads towards us there, look how slim she looks. I heard a young boy of about 12 say, "Is that a new stealth aircraft?" when he saw her for the first time. Very interesting, and of course she was invented long before stealth was even thought of. A slow fly past here. Undercarriage just coming up. Watch for the bank. When she first appeared at Farnborough, I remember it well, she was rolled by her test pilots. She could still do that now. She's perfectly capable of it. She has this amazing fighter-like performance, but current regulations, I don't think, will allow it, sad to say. But she can do wingovers like that. Now, as she comes back this time, watch for the bomb bay doors. The bomb bay is open, that huge bomb bay there. Doors opening now. That is the bomb bay that carried 21 1,000-pound bombs from Ascension Island down to the Falklands in 1982. And at the time, that was the longest bombing raid in history. It was significantly more than 7,000 miles. It required 18 air-to-air refuelings. And it was successful, of course. 2 bombs were dropped on the run. 2 bombs actually hit the runway. That was part of the course. These were World War II style, completely dumb bombs. They were not in any way guided, so hitting the runway with 2 was what was required, and it made it unusable for Argentine fast jets. And the man who was the captain of that Black Buck raid was Squadron Leader Martin Withers. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. He's sitting in the right-hand seat of the aircraft as we speak. He's the chief pilot of the Vulcan to the Sky Trust. As they come back, you'll see that huge bomb bay, which currently is filled with the names of people who've contributed significantly to keeping this aeroplane airborne. And you'll see that bomb bay closing. under the control of the air electronics officer, and that is Jonathan Lazari, air electronics officer, third member of the crew in operational flying. They used to have 2 navigators as well, a nav radar and a nav plotter. They just have the 3 crew now. There's another of those banks. Silhouetted against that puffy cloud, isn't that just stunning? So, as I was saying about the air electronics, obviously you have to have him on board because there's a lot of electrics about this airplane. It used to be known as the electric bomber. I think this may be her final fly past, coming in, accelerating to 300 knots, 345 miles an hour. Now, we shall, of course, be able to see her land as well. Somebody who's not on board, Taff Stone, the crew chief and chief engineer, who runs a magnificent team of 6 who Now, if you want to go and see Vulcan after she's landed, she will be towed back into where she came from, which is not very far from the Vulcan village, which is off right down to the left-hand end of the display area, and they'd be delighted to see you there. You can go and do an under-wing tour of the aircraft. You get shown around. You can't actually go into it, it's just too cramped inside, but you can do an under-wing tour. In fact, the other day somebody was so enamoured of the under-wing tour that at the end of it we found a complete set of lipstick marks on the undercarriage door. That's how much people love this aeroplane. But anyway, don't do any more of that, please, because it'll get boring. It kind of went viral, so but don't do it again. So I said it cost 20 million to get this far. She had a Heritage Lottery grant of 2.75 million, and she got a lot of support from industry. The CAA, AD Holdings, Airbus, BAE Systems, Beagle Technology, Cranfield Aerospace, Goodrich, Kearsley Airways, Meggitt, Messier Doughty, Rolls-Royce and Serco, and the Marshall Aerospace are the engineering authority. But we never managed to get the business sponsor, so she still has to raise £38,500 every week just to keep going. By the way, I should say, very quickly, happy birthday, Mark Musgrave in car park A1. Hope you're having a lovely day as Vulcan comes past you. Watch for the way Kev lands her today. Quite a bit of power on at the moment. I don't think he's going to use the braking parachute, which is a shame because that's rather exotic, but he will, I'm sure, keep the nose right up. She's got 18 wheels, 16 are just about to touch down, but he'll keep the 2 nose wheels up for as long as he can, and using the oncoming airflow against that huge multi-barn door delta sign, keep her slowed down. He has a little thing that tells him whether his tail's getting too close to the runway there, and he'll